Okay, let's have our practical example here. So I just want you to pause the video for 5 minutes and try to solve it by yourself, and we solve it together. Okay, let's do it together. So if Francis experiences a decrease in his income, we would expect that as a result of Francis' demand, number one, each good he purchases will remain unchanged. Normal good will decrease, luxury good will increase, inferior goods will decrease. First of all, if income rises and demand of the product also rises, we call this normal good. If income increases and demand for the product decreases, we call this inferior good. Here, this is the opposite side. If income decreases, demand should also decreases. That is normal good. This is the reciprocal, or the other side of the decrease in income and quantity demanded decrease. Inferior good, if income decreases, quantity demanded should increase. So let's talk about our options. Here, each good he purchases will remain unchanged. That can never be the case because we have two goods, that is the good, normal good and inferior good. We don't have any kind of luxury goods, so A and C eliminated. Number B, normal good will decrease. If income decrease, normal good will decrease. That is true. How about the D part? Inferior good will decrease. If income decrease, inferior good demand should increase. That's not the case. So only B is a true option. And now our second variable, which is price of related goods. So among the related goods, we have two categories. One is called substitute and one is called complement. So goods are said to be related if they satisfy sorry, similar needs. For example, we can substitute yogurt with ice cream, right? So number one category is substitute. So when a fall in the price of one good reduces the demand for an other goods, the two goods are called substitute. For example, Subway and taxi, Pepsi and Coke, right? So what if we represent it through figures? So if we have two goods, A and B, the law of demand is here. Price of A, quantity demanded of A. Price of B, quantity demanded of B. So what the substitute saying is saying that when a fall in the price of one good, for example, price of a fall reduces the demand for another goods. What happened? These two things are said to be substitute. If price of A decreases, it will increase the quantity demanded here. And what happened? B customers also shift here to purchase A goods, so it causes the reduction of the demand in other product. Similarly, let me just read it again. When the price of one good reduces, the demand for another good also reduces. We call this A and B are substitute. Right? Regarding the complements, similarly, if A and B, we have law of demand here, we just say B, A product. So when the fall in the price of one good increases the demand for other goods, for example, if the price of A decreases, it also causes its own demand to increase. In addition, the product B quantity also increases. Or in simple terms, if product of if product of one if the price of the product A decreases, it causes other product B demand to increase as well. We call this is complement. So let's read it again. When a fall in the price of one good increases the demand for another good, then two goods are complement. And what are the examples? Examples are gasoline and car, computer and software, the printer and its inkjet, cartilage, its cartilage, right? Or milk tea, because without milk tea cannot be served. So tea and milk, these are also complement, right? So this is the price of related goods, right? So how this is related to demand? So here, for example, complement, if the price of A increases, right, it causes the quantity of the B to decrease. It's called complement, right? So it has own prices as well, it has its own quantity as well. So since product B quantity increase or decrease, and the reason is not B's price, the reason is A's price. So that's why we see shift in B's demand. The decrease means shift to the left, right? So that's why we are discussing here. So that's why we call this variables that causes shift in the demand curve. One was consumer income, and the second one is price of related goods. Under price of related goods, we have two substitute and complements. The next one is consumer taste or taste. So economics do not explain people's taste because tastes are based on historical and psychological forces. It only examines what happens when the taste changes, right? So what if the flavored cigarette demand is shifted? So or people started liking more flavored cigarette, then what happened? Price may be the same, but demand for flavored cigarette increases, right? So change in quantity demanded of flavored cigarette is change, and the reason is not price. Price is the same, but due to the taste or liking or fashion, we call this is shift. Number 4 is expectations, right? For example, if people expect that the price of the product, or this famous Coca-Cola, if price of the Coca-Cola in future will increase, then what happened now? Let me write it here, future. What happened to the quantity now? In future, if price increase, in future quantity will decrease. But due to expectation, if in future price increases, it causes now demand to increase. Why? Because people will think that, okay, in future price gonna be expensive, so why not we buy right now, right? Price is right now the same, but quantity increase or decrease due to future expectations. It causes shift in demand curve. And number of buyers. If number of buyer increases, that causes increase or decrease in quantity demanded. Due to number of buyers has increased, it also causes shift, not movement. Okay, finally we have just completed our demand curve, and summary is that the demand curve shows what happened to quantity demanded of a good when price changes, keeping all other variable constant. And we discuss one example here, brand loyalty. even though price rises, even then the quantity demanded increased. So that is odd case. That's why we say that other variables constant. And then we talk about the shift case, movement case. So when one variable changes, we have five variables. One is consumer income, second one is price of related goods. Under price of related good, we talk about that substitute and complement. Then we talk about the taste, and then we talk about expectations, and we talk about number of buyers. If any one of the variable changes, we experience shift. Increase means shift to the right, decrease means shift to the left. The last one is price changes causes movement. If there is increase or decrease in quantity demanded and the reason is just price, then we say that it is movement along the curve. So guess what? What's next? So I have a surprise for you. Another concept checker. So I'm just gonna give you 5 minutes to pause the video and guess the right answer. These are the choices. Okay, let's do it together. So when quantity demanded has increased at every price level, it might be because, so here is the tagline, quantity demanded has increased. When quantity demanded has increased, the number of buyers in the market has decreased. No way. Income has increased and the good is an inferior good. No way, because quantity demanded has increased and income has also increased, so that's gonna be normal good, not inferior good. So the cost incurred by seller in producing the goods have decreased. That's not related. Demand is not related to sellers, it's related to buyers. The only option that has is T. Let's see if T is correct or not. The price of the complementary good has decreased. Price of complementary good has decreased. Right? Here. So here quantity demanded has increased at every price. So why? Because of price of complementary goods has decreased. So recall our complementary goods, that if the price of the product A decrease, it causes quantity demanded of another good to increase. We call this complementary, right? So D is the only answer. Here we go. Yes, D is the right answer. Another concept checker. This is going to give you 5 minutes. Pause the video and guess what is the right option. Okay, which of the following would not be a determinant of the demand for a product, for a particular good? So here, price of a related good, right? Income, taste, yes. And the price of inputs? No, we talk about consumer income, price of related good, taste, expectation, and number of buyers. So D cannot be the determinant of demand for particular goods. One more practical example here. I'm just going to give you 5 more minutes to pause the video and guess the right answer. So, an increase in the number of college scholarships issued by a private foundation would, first of all, increase in the number of college scholarships, increase the supply of education, decrease the supply of education, increase demand for education, and decrease the demand for education. So private foundations, they increase the funding, and they increase the funding. Supply of education is not easily increased. Education, it takes time. Plus we're talking about the demand section, so we just not considering the supply section. So here the demand, if increase in scholarship, it will attract more education or less education. Definitely more. D cannot be the answer. Let's see that. Hooray! This is the C is the right answer, right? I hope you understand the logic behind that. If you don't understand that, please do write us in our WeChat and Blackboard discussion forum. I would be happy to answer. So here we go. This is our lecture on the power of the market power of demand. The next lecture will cover the market power of supply. Until then, take care. Bye bye.